Yes, we're just coming to another one of the Pilates Qigong legs. So the other one I did, I did standing on one leg with hands on balloons. Basically, it was this. Basically, it's a Qigong posture, and you can hear enough say that's a yoga one. It's standing on leg one, but basically, obviously in Qigong they go into the meridians, but we're not going to do that. We're going to put the Pilates setup with it. But it is like a modification of that one, which I did anyway. So just going to a cat stance, toe touching the floor like that. But this one's called holding the ball in a cat stance. That is a cat stance. It's pretty much the same thing really. It's a modification for that one. But it is a different exercise actually, because you can go for longer here and it's more of a focus one. Yeah, you could time it if you wanted, or you could just, when you get tired, come off and start on the other leg. Your choice there. So, or you do so many breaths is another way of doing it on this one leg. But I think it is a good one to include, holding the ball in a cat stance as a different exercise, because it is different, because you can actually stand there longer, so you can be more of a focused one. Here, holding the ball there in that cat stance. So yeah, it is more of a focusing one. You can say do 10 breaths on one leg, then 10 on the other. But let's just get the Pilates breathing first. Most important part to get that breathing. So we're going to zip up pelvic floor, scoop out abdominals, take on navels towards the spine. Okay, then muscles go together. You can't do one without the other. Okay, and as you're right now zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals, we're just going to keep on breathing in through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips as you still zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals, and breathe in through the nose and exhale through pursed lips. As if you're sort of blowing out a candle through pursed lips as you're zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals. Just keep breathing through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips for as long as you like. Lovely. And as you're doing that right now, we're just standing naturally at the moment, okay? We can feel that breath coming lower, low, nice and low, to them lower lobes of the lungs, because right now as you're zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals, that breath can go nowhere else apart from into these lower lobes of lungs, into intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but the stomach. Just so, keep zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals, breathing in through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips. Just safe in the knowledge that breath can go nowhere apart from into these lower lobes of lungs. Because as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out the abdominals, take that navel towards the spine, that breath can go nowhere. It won't go into our belly button, it'll only go into them lower lobes and lungs. Okay, so to be more safe in the knowledge that's happening right now as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals, we're going to get our two middle fingers touching underneath what we call the xiphoid process, the sternum, the breastbone, palms on the lower lobes of the lungs with your shoulders down. Okay, you let them down to let you know where they are. And just carry on doing that, zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals, palms on the lower lobes of the lungs, these two middle fingers touching underneath what we call the xiphoid process, the sternum, the breastbone. You'll see that this happening. Them two middle fingers slightly parting and coming back to touch each other. Just adding width to the lungs and length to the out breath. That lovely, free, expansive breath. Two middle fingers will be moving like seaweed on the bottom of the seabed to the sides and back. Just adding width to the lungs and length to the out breath. Might only be a millimetre or a centimetre. Then two middle fingers are moving. It doesn't matter. It's just letting you know, or making you more self-assured, that that breath can go nowhere apart from into them lower lobes and lungs. Anywhere but the belly button, because as you gather in, that stops that coming in to here and puts that into them lower lobes and lungs. So just carry on doing that. You can take them hands down and you're more safe in the knowledge is going anywhere but the belly button, because right now as you do this, that breath can go nowhere apart from into them lower lobes of lungs. And just allow that simplicity to relax your mind as you keep zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals, thinking the navel's towards the spine, breathing in through the nose, whenever you like, and exhaling through pursed lips. It's what we call lateral thoracic breathing. Helps us use our pelvic floor and our corset muscle, 3 layers deep, wrapping around our spine, just segmentally stabilising the spine right now as you gather in, zip up and hollow. It helps us use our pelvic floor and our corset muscle, that transverse abdominis, that corset muscle wrapping around our spine in the most efficient manner, helping us breathe right now anywhere but our belly buttons, but keep breathing in to them lower lobes of lungs, intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but the stomach. Keep breathing into them fish gills, 3D style, organ deep, cell deep, even bone marrow deep, into them lower lobes of lungs. Keep breathing into that accordion of ribs, as though someone is opening an umbrella inside your rib cage and letting go, or someone's just pushing up from inside your ribs and letting go. It's what we call lateral thoracic breathing in Pilates. Right now, that helps us use that pelvic floor and our corset muscle, powerhouse, our girdle strength, our transverse abdominis, to support the spine. Again, no matter what you're doing, you take it into what you're doing. We're taking this into a Qigong posture in a sec. Now as you're doing that, keep breathing in through the nose, follow the journey all the way in, and exhale through pursed lips, allowing that simplicity to relax your mind at will. Now as you're doing that, we do a little bit more awareness, more like a workshopping moment, just to give you that awareness of what's going on and make that even easier to use the pelvic floor and the corset in the right fashion. So as you keep zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals, breathing in through the nose whenever you like, and exhaling through pursed lips, allowing that simplicity to relax the mind. You get these 2 middle fingers touching, again, from the hips, where you draw a beeline, bikini line, belt line, whatever you want to call that. So from the hips here, now lower, as you do this, is your pelvic floor. Above this beeline, the corset muscle links on like cling film, wrapping around our spine. The corset muscle, the transverse abdominis, 3 layers deep, just all segmentally stabilising your spine. So if you come from this beeline, you cough or sneeze, you'll feel that happen. As you cough, the pelvic floor goes, and the corset muscle, the transverse abdominis, the corset muscle goes. They go together. It just reassures you that goes together. If you do that, get that beeline, you breathe in, carry on zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals, but as you breathe in, you exhale. Nice resonant exhale. That also helps you throw on that corset, but even easier. Helps you do it without even trying or trying or trying. It's like a cough or a sneeze. As you exhale, that helps you throw on that corset and that pelvic floor together without even trying or trying not to try. And that further enforces in your head, you can't do one without the other. If you go pelvic floor, you engage that, you want to explain that as you're on a long journey, you go to the toilet and you stop yourself going, that's your pelvic floor. The corset muscle, 3 layers deep, you get by tucking in the belly button. Just reassures you, you can't do one without the other. Okay, pelvic floor goes and the corset muscle goes together. And again, just think of that cough or sneeze as you exhale with that lovely resonant out breath through pursed lips. It helps you throw on that corset even easier without even trying or trying not to try. Lovely. Take them hands away and just carry on as you are. Zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out abdominals. Keep breathing in through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips. We take it in to here. So again, cat stance here. Headlights on your hips, not searchlights. Facing the front. Lengthen up from the crown. Again, we're bringing the hands here. Imagine the hands floating in water up to maybe collarbone level or a little bit lower. Hands are here, elbows sink. Again, here. Maybe see what suits you. It could be 5 to 10 breaths, then you swap over. Breathe when you're there, you breathe in, and it's a resonant out breath. That works like a cough or sneeze, naturally helps you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals without even trying or try not to try. Again, you do your breaths, and you take your time, you relax, let go, let that bit of retention of the breath go, then you start again on the other leg. Obviously, if you did want to make it harder, you could do the one leg, same deal again. But again, I like this cat stance because you can stay there a lot longer. It could be longer than 10 breaths, but you can stay there for a while, really get that focus on the breath, count the breath. Okay, so 1 in, 1 out, that's 1. You can carry on like that, but use that exhale. That helps you throw in that corset, shoulders down, lengthen up from the crown. Allow these shoulders to drop down. So if there's a trickle of water just running down your back and dispersing, now the shoulders over hips, head over shoulders, that lovely soft V between your shoulder blades. Now the shoulders to mount over hips, head over shoulders, lengthen up for the ground, shoulders down, as you simply carrying on, zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals. Breathing for nose whenever you like, and exhale through pursed lips. Even imagine you got a scarf wrapped tightly around your ribs, and you breathe in that scarf wide and full, just adding width to the lungs, and lengthen the out breath as you exhale through pursed lips. Nice powerful exhale, nice resonant out breath, works like a cough or a sneeze, naturally helps us zip up pelvic floor and scoop out the abdominals without even trying or try not to try. So if you did want to make it harder, you know, quite athletic, anything on that one leg's good. You know, so you can count the breaths on that. Remember, if you are doing that, finger the nose or the ear. If you're losing your balance, give that option. But I like this option here because, like I say, you can just work on your focus more and stay there longer. So it's more like a Qigong posture where you'd hold for a while. Like I say, hands are here, nice and relaxing the fingers, even gaps between the fingertips. Partially empty foot. Okay, fill up the other leg, shoulders down, lengthen up from the ground. Imagine there's a puppet string, a hook, a brace on your head, putting your head up towards the ceiling, lengthen up for the ears, and just keep on zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals. Breathing for nose whenever you like, and exhale through pursed lips. Lovely. And again, just find your speed. Lovely. And you know, explain that pelvic floor as you're on a long journey, you want to go to the toilet, that's your pelvic floor. The corset here, the powerhouse, the girdle, the strength, the transverse abdominis. We get that by tucking in. That's like cling film. That links on this B line, that bikini line, that belt line. So again, you don't have to know that, but if you do know that, again, it just helps us use these muscles even more efficiently than we already are. Because again, we haven't got that amnesia where the muscles are, we know where they are. So we can use them in the most efficient manner. Helping us zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals, just knowing their muscles are there. As this corset does up around the back, it helps extension force up against gravity. The back bit especially of the corset, it's called the lumbar thoraciofascia, helps us fight up against gravity. Lovely. So just find your speed and tempo with the breathing. But remember, I'm emphasising on this, you can really get into that breathing and emphasise that resonant out breath. Okay, that's going to really help you throw on that corset and zip up pelvic floor, engaging that powerhouse, that girdle of strength. 3 layers deep. Lovely. That was holding the ball in a cat stance. Again, you get some far out names with them Qigong ones, and some just basic what they are. But again, don't get too caught up. This is Qigong pose, etc. We're just mixing up the breathing. You take this Pilates breathing into anything you're doing. We're just doing a bit of a mix there. So again, it's moving at the end of the day. End of the Pilates Qigong mix. Bang.